Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some footage taken from a double-up game with Headwinder. And in this game, we're going to be looking at an Enforcers team composition. And specifically, we're going to be looking at an Enforcers team composition that plays with Caitlyn as the main carry. By the way, we also have a Caitlyn encounter to start off the game here. Caitlyn grants you gold every stage. This is the big-time Caitlyn theme in this particular game that we're going to be seeing here. Now, I actually did post another Enforcers game that Grillo played right before this, but that game is actually something that looked very, very different from this one. That game that Grillo provided me with was based on running Prismatic Spoils of War, and he played like this very aggressive tempo team composition. This is a game that looks very different. This is more of like a normal Enforcers team composition, and in fact, it's also going to be an emblem-less Enforcers game, so not to give anything away out of the gate, but this is a game where I don't get an Enforcer, an emblem for +1 Enforcer, and it's a pretty significantly different way to play the game, actually, when that happens. The trait has, up to this point in time as I'm recording this video, Enforcers has pretty much only been played if someone can get +1 to the trait via an emblem, and if you don't have that, it's generally been kind of weak. Now, since between the time that this video was played and when this video gets posted on YouTube, my understanding is that the next patch that's about to come out is going to put a lot of buffs on Enforcers, so that may change, but this was played over the long winter patch that was around for like ages and ages over the winter holidays, and basically you wouldn't play Enforcers unless you had +1. So this is an emblemless Enforcers game, and it was noteworthy enough with the way that Caitlyn played into this game that I wanted to record it and put it on YouTube. All right, so Enforcers. The way that this trait works, it is one of the big scaling vertical traits here in set 13, so it's certainly one of the ones that can be played vertically. And that's largely what I'm going to try to do here due to how this game plays out. All right, our initial augment is a silver one. There is Lone Hero here, which is actually going to be taken out of the game in this next patch because of how people are abusing it with Lux. But I didn't have a Lux setup. I didn't have the items to play that. I didn't really want to play that. So instead, I'm going to take this support mining one. This is going to give me a training dummy. It gives me a little bit of gold. And if the training dummy dies 7 times, I will get a support item later on. Not bad for a silver augment. Now, you might notice I'm picking up a whole bunch of these various family and, family and conquer units here on my board, and that's because Headwinder is planning to do the old family reroll plus Darius and Draven board, and so I'm grabbing some of those units to play on his board. I've actually been hitting them pretty hard. Headwinder went ahead and scouted the lobby, and he realized no one was playing this. Again, this build has been around for ages and ages, ever since the start of the set. It's gotten nerfed a bunch of times, but it's still reasonably playable if you get the units for it, and also if it's uncontested. So it becomes much better, obviously, because it's based on rerolling for a bunch of 1 cost. If you're uncontested, it gets a lot better. So I'm going to grab a bunch of those units. I've already sent him... What did I send him right away? I'm trying to remember what it was I actually sent him. I think I sent him a Darius or a Draven right at the start of the game, and I would end up hitting a whole bunch of the units that are on his team composition and just hold a whole bunch of 2-stars. Like, look at this shop. Darius 2-star, Violet 2-star, Draven 2-star, and I also even hit a Morgana 2-star, but I don't really have any place to play the Morgana, so I think I just end up selling that. So temporarily, I'm just going to play these like family reroll units until I can send them over to Headwinder's board, because like 2-star Darius and 2-star Violet are like not bad units to play here on stage 2, and I'll just send them over to his board. I'm actually going to take the Steb off my board completely because I'd rather play a 2-star Draven over a 1-star Steb. That seems like an obvious upgrade there. All right, now in terms of my initial items, I don't know that my items were particularly amazing for an Enforcer start. I had a bow, a rod, and a tier. So you always want to try to make an item if you can. Sometimes none of the items will do for your board. But if you can, you almost always want to make at least some kind of item out of the gate. And so I went ahead and made the Rage Blade because I had the bow and the rod. The Enforcer's team composition doesn't really do a lot of magic damage. Almost all of the units in this team composition do physical damage. The only real exception is Twisted Fate. He's about the only one that deals magic damage. And so you don't really want to make a whole bunch of AP items if you're planning on going down this route. So I have made the Rage Blade. It actually is one of the better items on Maddie. She is the unit I'm going to be playing as my carry for the time being. She's just, backline. She's sniper and enforcer. When her mana bar fills up, she shoots, I think it's like 5 shots at the opposite corner of the map, whatever enemy's furthest away. Kind of typical for a 1-cost unit that is like a backline unit. She's similar to the way, Caitlyn has been a 1-cost unit in like half of the TFT sets. We've seen the 1-cost Caitlyn build like a billion times in sets where Cait has a huge mana bar and then she lines up a shot and then she fires like 1 high damage shot at like the other corner of the map. That's basically what Maddie is, only instead of firing 1 shot that just hits firing like 1 big shot, she fires like 5 smaller shots. This is also interesting. This player, Icy Light, took the silver augment that just puts you on a win streak. I think it sets your win streak to 6 right at the start of the game. And so this person obviously thought they could win streak. They actually leveled to level 5 on 2-3, trying to maintain their win streak. Well, they would have beaten me, but Headwinder was able to win his round and come over. So we immediately end their win streak, and that's actually catastrophically bad for them because their whole silver augment was literally just putting them on a win streak. And we ended that win streak after 2 rounds, so they really got no value. They probably got like, 3 or 4? I think they got about 4 gold out of that. And then the augment was just dead after that. So that's, not an especially good use of that kind of augment. But yeah, it is what it is. That's one of the reasons why I usually don't take that one. But anyway, that was a big win for us in terms of this lobby, was to shut down that person who took the win streak immediately. Okay, I've got the send back. I have the send back very early because we use it very early, and I'm going to use it to send this 2-star Violet over to Headwinder's board. Now, that actually probably weakens my board to send the Violet over there. But, he's trying to hit Violet 3-star, and I already have 3 copies, so I'll just send that over to him. And I'm able to kind of shift out of this by putting in the Steb, which does make Enforcer trait, and then also putting in the Trundle. That makes Bruiser trait. And then I was able to make a redemption on Darius. I was last pick on that carousel. There wasn't a whole lot that I wanted. So I had this tier, and I don't really have a lot of uses for tiers in an Enforcer's build. Again, it's not a spellcasting-based team composition. So since tiers are not especially valuable in this team composition, I just opted to make the redemption because I had a belt there. All right, I was able to take a belt off carousel and make a redemption. And I really do think that's one of the best things I could do with this. About the only other really good thing I could do is make a make a Hand of Justice for Vi later on, but I don't really have any unit that would want a Hand of Justice. Maybe Camille, but Camille was like super over nerfed in this. By the way, there she is. Pops up on the screen right now. But Camille was like super duper over nerfed in this particular patch, so she's not really a unit that you would want to be playing in this patch, unless she's getting buffed in that patch that's going to go on the live client. All right, so again, I did kind of have 2 possible lines that I could go down in this game. One of them was playing Enforcers, and that's ultimately the direction that I end up going in this game. The other alternative was to go heavier into Bruisers, and then look to play into Bruisers plus Twitch, which is another one of those builds that's kind of been underpowered in this patch we've been playing, but which is going to get buffed in the next patch. They're actually buffing Twitch's mana from 60 to 40, which feels absolutely insane to me. There's a good chance it's going to make Twitch from one of the worst costs into one of the best, one of the worst 4 costs into one of the best 4 costs. But we'll just have to see what happens. That patch will already be live by the time this video gets posted onto YouTube. In any case, though, so I was potentially thinking of going down to that road. By the way, I really should pick up these Camille's. Do I remember to grab these Camille's, or do I just forget that she's in the shop because I'm playing Enforcer? I do have the gold to pick them up. Maybe I just forgot that she was in my shop here. Definitely should have picked her up. Yeah, it looks like I just completely whiffed on her being in my shop. Whoops. Well, I do find a TF, so that's not bad. But with TF plus the Camille, I actually could have put Enforcer 4 in. Anyway, so the other path I was thinking was go Twitch plus Bruisers. I have been hitting Bruisers reasonably well, but it turns out there's someone in this lobby who actually took the Steb carry augment. Yes, there is a hero augment for Steb in this game. It's been absolutely terrible in this patch. It's not something you really want to take. And they were re-rolling for Trundle 3-star, Maddie 3-star, and Steb 3-star, which really isn't very good, and it doesn't scale very well into the late game at all. Like, it's just not a good build. By the way, Camille came back, but I could have had a 2-star Camille if I'd picked that up. Yeah, it's just something that scales very poorly into the late game, so I would not suggest doing that. But because they were taking a lot of Stebs and Trundles out of the pool, it made it less likely that I would want to go for the Bruiser plus Twitch build. It just, they'd be taking a lot of Bruisers out of the pool, because I think they would then later try to go up to like 4 Bruisers. Anyway, so now I am still on full win streak. Things have been going very nicely so far. Headwinder, I believe Headwinder's lost 1 round so far, but yeah, I am going to look to go up to the 4. I believe I look to go up to the 4 enforcers here. I think I'm trying to think what I end up doing here. I go ahead and make a Gargoyle Stone Plate, and then I will, what is it? I believe, do I try to get the Camille on my board here? I think I leave the Darius on the board for right now because he's still the best tank that I can play, but I will hold on to the TF, and then I've got this leftover BF sword. Probably should just go on Maddie for right now, and then we can figure out what the item's going to turn into later on. Over there, it looks like Headwinder's making steady progress on Family Reroll. Remember, Family Reroll is supposed to be very weak in the early game. Headwinder won 4 out of 5 rounds on stage 2. So that's a really good sign if he's winning rounds already at a point in time when his board's supposed to be very weak. By the way, this person has the Singed hero augment. This is Singed. I think it's called Mad Chemist Singed. But for whatever reason, they don't seem to have items on the Singed just yet. So that doesn't look all that strong just yet. He has 6 Violets and he has 5 Gangplanks and 5 Dravens. So he's making good progress already on hitting these. And I'm going to be able to send him a 2-star version of one of these units any turn now. Now, the next augment's again silver, so it's been kind of a low power lobby thus far. We've had silver augments thus far, and I'm looking at these different options. I'm not seeing a ton that I love, so I'm going to take Blistering Strikes because Blistering Strikes is just like generically good, and I do not have a heal cut on my board thus far. I also get this. I managed to find an early Twitch. I was like, oh, okay, early Twitch. That sounds pretty good. So now I definitely should try to get the Twitch on the board somehow. I'll play him over the Draven. This does cost me Conqueror trait, but Draven wasn't really doing that much on my board. He was only providing Conqueror trait, and I don't think I'm going to run Conqueror long enough for me to get the additional, whatchamacallit. I don't think I'm going to run it long enough for me to get the additional Conqueror cash out, the one that you get at 35 stacks. I did get the 10 stack Conqueror cash out. Now I had a Loris come over from Headwinder, so I am going to go up to the 4 enforcers here. So I'm basically playing 4 enforcers plus, what else am I playing? The plus Bruiser and then plus the Twitch to get Sniper trait in. Now Twitch doesn't have any items, and you could say maybe I should move the Rage Blade from Maddie over to Twitch, but I think in a 4 enforcer build and with Experiment trait not in play, it's better to keep these items on Maddie than it is to put them on Twitch. Twitch really needs Experiment trait in order to be stronger. So I think I'll keep the Rage Blade on Maddie for right now. Maybe that's wrong. Twitch did almost as much damage in Maddie as he had no items. So I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. But that's the way I ended up playing it this game was to keep the items on Maddie because I went up to the 4 enforcers. All right, we've got the send back, so now it's time to go ahead and send one of these units over. And I believe Headwinder wanted the Darius, so I will send that. And I've been steadily converting all of these Family and Conquer units from my board over to his board. So yeah, there he goes. He's on 8 Violets, and he's on. He just hit the 3-star Darius, and there's 3-star Draven. So he needs one more. What is it? He needs one more Violet, and then I think he needs a few more powders. But I actually have a pair of powders in my shop as well, so I might be able to send him a 2-star powder as well. And once he hits all of those units, he can then just start power leveling and putting in more of the what are they called? Pit fighter units to accentuate Violet. All right, here is the person who has the Steb carry augment. Remember, I said that this player was in the lobby. They have 3-star Trundle and 3-star Steb at the moment. Pretty sure that that person's board is better than what I have right now. They just have a ton of health on all these units. But if you notice, they also took the thing that gave them 11 free shop refreshes. So they've already gotten all the power they're ever going to get out of that. Yeah, that's just too much health for me to work through here in the early game. They also have like no economy at all either. They're level 5 20 gold, and they've already used up that silver augment. So they are stronger than me for right now, but I'm pretty confident that I can outscale that board later on. Because like that fight was reasonably close, and I really haven't hit much of anything thus far yet. Okay, I am 3rd pick here, so I'm trying to get some items that would work well for my start. But I also see this. There's a Vi on the carousel right here, so it's like, oh man, can I get this Vi? Because I'm trying to play an Enforcer's board. There's a Vi here on the carousel. It's like, all right, I got to go for this. Well, I think it was almost every single person in the lobby had a shot at that Vi, except for one other player and Headwinder. But like 5 of our 6 opponents could have taken the Vi. They all said no. So I was like, all right, well, I am happy to take that Vi and play the Vi on my board. And I can even make an Infinity Edge, which is a really, really good Caitlyn item as well. So now I need to look to start getting items for Vi as well. The way Enforcers works is it's kind of a tricky team composition to play because the carries in the and by the way, there is 2-star powder. I'm just hitting all of the units that Headwinder needs on his board. It's kind of a tricky carry to build to play though, because you really do have Vi and Kate as your main carries. The other units in the comp, generally speaking, are not strong enough to serve as mainline carries. I will play the Vi over TF for right now. Maybe TF, if he ever gets buffed, can be like a viable carry, but he doesn't really feel like he's strong enough to be a carry, at least in the patches we've been playing thus far. And the units that are earlier, the only other unit that was a viable carry was Camille, because Camille was like super overtuned for like for a patch. I don't remember how long that lasted. I think it was like a week or two. She was like super overpowered. But she wasn't even played in Enforcer comp. She was played in a vertical ambushers comp was the way people played her. So all the other units are just like either support units or utility units or tank units, or just like not really mainline carries. So it really does need to be Vi and Caitlyn. And the problem is Caitlyn's a 5 cost. So if you don't hit the Caitlyn, it's actually a really awkward board to play because Kate's a 5 cost, and it's very difficult to reliably hit 5 costs, of course. By the way, this fight I thought for sure Headwinder was coming in and reinforcing me, but no. I think that the round ended like a 10th of a second before he was able to get there. And that person is playing Renata Reroll, which is another comp that's going to get nerfed in this upcoming patch. I don't seem like it's playing it especially well. They were able to beat me, but as I said, I don't feel like I really have that much. The biggest issue for me is my front line. Like, I have 1-star Loris, 1-star, Nunu up there. Oh, we are going to get a chance to pull an Anvil here. So I was like, all right, you know what? I have Infinity Edge. I think Last Whisper is probably the best fit here. I don't really need more front line. I mean, you could make the case for Evan Shroud, but Infinity Edge, Last Whisper are actually quite good items on Kate. Now, if I can just get like a Spear of Shojin for her last item, that would be really, really nice. And I'd have awesome Caitlyn items. Now I just need to find Caitlyn. So now my biggest priority is getting items for Vi. I didn't think any of the items that were in that Anvil were particularly great Vi items, but we want like a Bloodthirster, a Titan's Resolve, an Edge of Night, a Quicksilver Sash. These are all items that are good on melee AD carries, and that is absolutely what Vi is. So she just wants standard melee unit itemization. All right, this time we're up against, what is this, some kind of a Academy/Conqueror board? It's kind of a weird board over here. They've actually got some pretty good units, but the problem is they're almost all 1-starred, and yeah, that just falls apart pretty quickly there. So looks like we cut through this board, and it wasn't an amazing stage 3, but I was mostly just econing the whole stage, so I'm reasonably pleased to have only lost the 2 rounds. I did maintain a 7-match win streak, and I think that those 2 rounds I lost were pretty close losses as well, so pretty happy with how this one's going. Now, I was hoping at this point in time that I was going to get an Enforcer emblem so I could play the +1 and get up to 8 Enforcers, but I've already spoiled you that that's not going to happen in this game, so I'm just going to have to make this team composition work without getting an emblem. While we've got a minion around here, let's just go ahead and cover what the Enforcer trait actually does. Probably should have done this earlier in the video, but we've got a minute now. So Enforcer trait basically does 2 things. It grants shield and damage amp, and that's the basic thing that the trait does. The deeper you play into the trait, the bigger the shield and the higher the damage amp that the units get. The shield is percentage based. Right now I have 4 Enforcers in. So my Enforcer units get a 20% health shield, which is not a ton, but it's okay, I suppose. And then on top of that, they get 20% damage amp. And as I play deeper into the trait, they get more. At 6 Enforcers, it's 30% health shield, 33% damage amp. So like I said, the deeper I play into the trait, the bigger the shield and the more damage amp I get. I will level to level 7 here. That means taking out the Nunu. Now I'm going to go ahead and look to start itemizing this Vi. I can make a Hand of Justice. Again, as I said, tears aren't really an item that I particularly want in this comp, so I'm happy to kill one of them by making Hand of Justice. And then I've got a leftover sword. I would love to make a Bloodthirster with this. If I get another glove, I could always Thief's Glove somebody, but, you know, I can probably find something decent to do with this. Back to the Enforcer trait, though. So I mentioned the Enforcers get a shield. You can see it at the start of the fight, and they also get damage amp. Now, here's the other interesting part of the trait. Enforcer trait causes high health enemy units to become wanted. You can actually see it. There's like a little bullseye indicator above their heads. Those are the wanted enemies. When a wanted enemy dies, Enforcers gain 30% attack speed. So that lasts throughout the fight. So as you kill wanted enemies, all Enforcers gain 30% attack speed, and that's per wanted enemy dying. Note that Enforcers do not get it's not easier for them to kill the wanted units, but when they do kill them, they get an attack speed bonus. That's something important to keep in mind. It's not easier for them to kill the wanted units, but when they do kill the wanted units, they get an attack speed benefit. All right, last augment here. Again, I was hoping for +1 Enforcers, but I end up getting something really interesting regardless. I was looking at the different options here. I was going to take Piercing Lotus, but I was like, let's roll and see if we can get the +1 Enforcer. But no, I get this. Martial Law. When Ambessa casts, Caitlyn fires an empowered attack at the target. dealing 225% damage. Ambessa gains 25% of Caitlyn's attack damage. Gain an Ambessa and a Caitlyn. I was like, oh, you know what? This is worth taking just for the Kate alone, and I also get an Ambessa as well. So now I have to play Ambessa on my board, and this is kind of a wacky board to play because Ambessa is not a unit that you necessarily would normally play in this team composition, but it actually does make a decent amount of sense here. But then we're going to move all of my items that are on Maddie over to Caitlyn. And there is some synergy here because, number one, you do get the Quick Striker benefit from having Twisted Fate in there. Quick Striker 2 doesn't do a tremendous amount, but it does give some additional attack speed. So we do pick up that trait. And we do get Ambessa's Emissary benefit as well. It's going to give some additional armor and magic resistance to the whole team based on how many of the enemy boards we've beaten, which I think is just about all of them here. But still, the main reason why I take this is I just want a Caitlyn. Like, I just want to play Caitlyn because she's such an important unit to play on this board. So even though I only have 6 Enforcers and I don't have 8 Enforcers, I have Caitlyn and Vi, both of them, on 4-2. Yeah, on 4-2. That's pretty good. By the way, there's the powder going over to Headwinder. And then I find another Kate in the shop. So I was like, oh my god, I have 2 out of 3 Kates already. I was like, well, you know, I'm going to keep rolling a little bit. Mostly I just want to get a Loris 2 to anchor my front line. But then I find an Alawi here, and I was like, okay, I can play Alawi over something. I can take out one of these units. I'll take out the Steb. I don't really need Steb anymore because he was getting me to 7 Enforcer, but that doesn't really do anything for me. And there's 2-star Vi. So as soon as I see 2-star Vi popping up, I just can't quite buy it in time before the round starts. I was like, okay, I think I can go to level 9 and just try to find another Caitlyn here. I think my board is strong enough. Pretty content with how this is looking here. And if I can just find one more Kate, I love Kate 2-star, and yeah, Kate 2-star, even in a 6 Enforcers build and not an 8 Enforcers build, she does an awful lot of damage, plus she has that additional bonus damage effect from pairing with Ambessa, but even without that, yeah, Kate did 6,000 damage. She was absolutely brutalizing that enemy team right there. All right, so now it is time for the stage 4 carousel, and I believe that I am the 3rd pick on this carousel, and oh, look what's there. There is a Caitlyn on this carousel. I was like, is there any chance I can get this Kate? Oh, come on. Surely the lobby's not going to let me take a Kate with 3rd pick here, right? Well, it's coming towards me. And I was like, oh my god, the lobby, they just done messed up. They done goofed, everybody. They just gave me another Kate. I have Kate 2-star on 4-5 in a 6 Enforcers build. Well, this is going to be painful, and it's not going to be for me and Headwinder because the lobby should not have allowed me to take that unit because now I have Kate 2-star. And yeah, this unit is pretty strong if you hit it this early. The extra sword, not as good, but yeah, I think I can make do at this. So now that we've got a minute here, what does Caitlyn's ability do? Kate is a unit that doesn't get played a whole lot here in set 13, and that's because she kind of has very narrow parameters in which she can be played. Her traits are Enforcer plus Sniper, and heavy sniper builds just have not really been a thing in this set. She does not pair very well with Twitch because Twitch, like, I guess you can play her in a Twitch comp, but Twitch has been really weak throughout this set too. And like, it's not like there's enough good snipers to go up to like 4 snipers or anything like that. So she really has only been played in Enforcer builds, and Enforcer's been an underpowered trait throughout the set thus far. So people just haven't really been playing this 4 cost, or excuse me, this 5 cost very much at all. But anyway, here's what her ability does as you're watching Kate just annihilate another board over there. It's called Air Raid, costs 50 mana. Enter a sniper stance and call in an airship that circles the battlefield for 5 seconds, dropping 4 bombs at a random cluster of enemies. Bombs deal physical damage in a 1-hex circle. Whenever an enemy is caught in the epicenter of an air rasp blade, reduce their armor and magic resistance by 20 and fire a shot towards them, dealing another 300-something physical damage. So you got that? She enters a sniper stance and she fires these shots from an airship. By the way, I'm just going to take this Titanic Strikes for another, 30% damage? Another 30% for AD on Kate. That sounds pretty good. But like, she enters this sniper stance and this airship drops a bunch of bombs, and then anything that gets hit takes the initial damage from the bomb hit, and then Kate fires a shot at them as well. I believe that the airship is designed to drop bombs on top of enemies. I think it can miss, but it like tries to hit enemies, so it doesn't miss that often. And then Kate just pops them with her sniper shots. She does a ridiculous amount of damage if she's 2-starred and has good itemization and you're playing vertical Enforcers. Now, about the itemization, I have 2 good items on Kate. I have Infinity Edge and Last Whisper. Those are very good items on Kate. You want her damage to be able to crit because she's basically an AD caster. She doesn't really care about auto attacking. It's all her damage comes from her ability. But listen to what I just said. All her damage comes from her ability. She doesn't care about auto-attacking. So that Rage Blade is a bad item on Kate. It's not a good item on her. That said, I would still rather put it on her just to give her a little bit of additional attack speed. But it is not a good item on her. Look how much time she spends not auto-attacking in these fights. Once she lines up those sniper shots, she is not auto-attacking at all. So this is a really bad item on her. But I had it, and I figured I might as well slap it on her. It was her or TF, and I thought it was still better to put it on her than on TF. But let's just say I am trying to move other items onto Kate and get that Rage Blade off her. Still, I don't feel bad about making the Rage Blade because it was the item that I had at the start of the game. I had a rod, I had a bow, I didn't really have any use for a rod. So I was happy that I made the Rage Blade because Maddie got a lot of good use out of it. And it was worthwhile just to have it, just to have the Rage Blade on Maddie for stage 2, 3, and 4 before I made it to Caitlyn. So the Rage Blade is pretty useless on Kate, but it was very helpful in getting me to Kate, if that makes sense. Anyway, enough on itemization. I annihilated the rest of stage 4 to no surprise. I had 2-star Vi and 2-star Kate on immediately after stage 4 carousel. That's pretty strong. Kind of tempoed our way past the rest of the lobby pretty hard here. And now we're just going to see what we can hit. And we're going to go to level 9 and see what the heck we can hit. Try to just play more strong units. Maybe I can actually hit 2-star Loris. I still haven't found a Loris here. I did get a belt, though. I'm pretty happy with that. So with that belt, I can go ahead and make a Sterix, which is a good item on Vi. So I'll look to go ahead and do that because I have these extra swords here. So we'll go ahead and do that. I could also make Deathblade on Kate, which is not a bad Kate item either. And then here I was looking for a tier. I was trying to make a Shojin for Kate because ideally I'd like to have Shojin plus Infinity Edge plus Last Whisper, but I don't get a tier. So I go ahead and make a Bloodthirster instead, and I'm actually very, very happy with Vi's items. Bloodthirster, Sterix, and Hand of Justice are quite good items to put on Vi. Now, again, if you're noticing, I'm not putting a lot of attack speed items on my units. The only thing I have that grants attack speed is the Rage Blade. And that's because Enforcers in a heavy vertical Enforcers build really do not need attack speed because they get attack speed from the Enforcer trait. Remember, there are 4 wanted units on the enemy board. If we kill all 4 of them, that's 120% attack speed for the entire Enforcers board. Now, of course, you still have to get the kills. The trait doesn't do anything until you actually get the kills. Where it doesn't give any attack speed until you get the kills. But if we can get the kills, we have this massive influx of attack speed coming. So that's why you really don't want to itemize a lot of attack speed on the carries on the Enforcers board. They're going to get it from Enforcer trait as they kill wanted units. So it is a bit of a snowball trait in that regard, because if you get kills, suddenly you get all this attack speed and things are awesome. But if you don't get the kills, you just get run over by the enemy team is kind of the downside there. Anyway, it is the gift round. It is the gift round for Headwinder, and I believe he takes the completed item Anvil, and then I will get the other half of that coming in on the next round. I just went ahead and went to level 9. I had enough econ to do it, so I went ahead and looked for that. Now, I'm really looking for like just good 4 and 5 cost units. I guess I could play Echo here. He wouldn't be terrible, but that's probably the best unit I could have played. I'll grab the Mordekaiser. He's not a great fit either. He does give me Conqueror trait. Not that Conqueror trait really does a whole lot here. I mean, I guess it helps Ambessa out a little bit, but then I see there's a Savika in my store, and I was like, all right, gonna play Savika. I think that's much better. I'm really playing through Vi and Caitlyn, so I'm trying to accentuate Vi and Caitlyn's traits. So it's better to get Pit Fighter in play for Vi, and then do something like put Conqueror trait in for, who's my other Conqueror? Ambessa. Ambessa has no items and is a 1-star. Vi has all items and is a 2-star and has Enforcer bonus, which Ambessa does not. So it just makes sense to play through the Vi here over trying to play through Ambessa. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting Ambessa items, but that's like a lower priority. As you see Kate just destroying the backline there. Yes, I mean, we have been winning every fight since I got the 2-star Kate, and it really has not been close. So we've kind of been just destroying these boards. Of course, Headwinder's on a big winning streak too. But yeah, we're at 86 health, and the rest of the lobby is on 16 and 4 health. So things are looking pretty good overall in this one. And then I get a Rumble, so I will just upgrade from the Alawi into the Rumble. Alawi is actually not amazing on my board. Alawi kind of needs Rebel trait to be effective, and clearly I'm not going to get that. Normally when you play Sentinels, you get copies of Rebel units. Oh, by the way, and then I get another item here, and none of this stuff is amazing for me, but I do see that there's Giant Slayer here. And I do not mind putting Giant Slayer on Caitlyn. It's going to be much better than Rage Blade on Kate. So I was like, all right, I think the Giant Slayer is the way to go. It was that or the Deathblade. I did think about the Deathblade, but I think Giant Slayer is better here because gives me that damage amp against high health targets. Kate doesn't, I'm not sure Kate really needs that much more raw AD. She already has plenty of raw AD. I think the Giant Slayer is a little bit better here. Although I guess the Deathblade would maybe fit slightly better with the anomaly I picked, which is gives me additional AD from all sources. But I don't know. I think the Giant Slayer is a little bit better, and it's especially better against this board. Remember, this is the person who is like kind of like my doppelganger. They're also playing Enforcers. They actually took the same thing. They also took Martial Law, so they also have the Kate plus Ambessa thing. But they're the one who had the Steb carry augment. They went Steb 3-star, Maddie 3-star, and what was the other one? What's his name? Trundle 3-star. And you can see that my board has outscaled them by like a crazy degree at this point in time. So against that board, the Giant Slayer is way better because they're playing heavy Bruisers. Bruisers get a lot of health. Giant Slayer is really good against them. All right, now out of these items here, again, I'm really looking for items for like Ambessa, Savika. I'm not really seeing a ton of them that are great. I also would like another frontline item for Loris. I'm still on Loris 1-star, by the way. I found one Loris the entire game. Headwinder sent me a Loris, but I've only found one the whole game, so I'm still sitting at 2 out of 3. And I just end up taking the Adaptive Helm because why not? And maybe I should have put this on the Rumble instead. But I think I ended up putting it on the Loris because I was like, all right, well, surely I'm going to find another Loris at some point. I can't go the whole game and just have Loris 1-star on my board. That would just be ridiculous. Anyway, I do find another Savika. You might think I would want to hold the Savika, but no, I want to send it to Headwinder because that actually gets him up to 6 pit fighters. He needed the Savika for 6 pit fighters. And that is one weakness of our comps here. He needs to play Vi and Savika on his board, and I also need to play Vi and Savika on my board. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but other than that, our comps don't really overlap all that much. But we do have that one issue there. Now, this time I'm up against the person who's playing the Mad Chemist Singed. The Singed Hero Augment, and they've actually managed a 4-star Singe, so they must have taken an augment. They must have taken an augment or the Hero Augment anomaly that makes them a 4-star unit. But like you can see, we do not have any difficulty beating that board. And once again, Giant Slayer is really good because they have a 4-star Singe. They actually have 2 4-star Singed. They have something that I think they have the anomaly that duplicates the Singed or something like that. But I mean, that fight was not very close, not a close fight at all. So. Just going to keep rerolling here, seeing if I can hit anything else. I would really like to get one more Loris, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like this game has been very difficult thus far. I did have kind of a ridiculous high roll to get Vi 2-star, Kate 2-star at the middle of stage 4, but I mean, we're still on 86 health. I'm on a 10-match winning streak, and we're down to one other team in the lobby, and they have 1 hit point left. So it's like, oh, yeah, I guess everybody else is just dying like that. And look who it is. It's the Maddie Trundle Steb reroll player. It's my evil twin here. And like I said at the beginning of the game, I was like, this build just isn't really that good of a build because it gets outscaled. It's like, okay, you have 3-star Steb, but like 3-star Steb doesn't do anything. It's just not good. And you can see this is not a close fight. And Kate and Vi just steamroll through this board. And that's a wrap. And we're going to wrap this up. We don't even go to stage 6. This is just an absolute steamroller of a board. And we're going to win right here with, I think I only lost 2 rounds the entire game. And I think Headwinder only lost 2 or 3 as well. So, yeah, I mean, that was quite a game there. I wouldn't say that Enforcer games are always going to go this smoothly, but I did want to showcase one where everything came together perfectly. It is possible to play a really strong Enforcers game without the +1 emblem if all the cards line up perfectly, which they really did in this game. So hit Vi 2-star, hit Kate 2-star, don't even need Loris 2-star, just steamroll the lobby, GG. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, folks, and I'll see you again soon.